My name is Hannah Clark. I'm 31 years old, and until last Tuesday, I thought I was finally stepping into the life I'd always dreamed of. Love, stability, a future I could count on. For the past year and a half, I'd been dating Anthony Harris, a charming, ambitious man who could make anyone believe he was born for greatness. He was the kind of boyfriend who remembered anniversaries, left handwritten notes on my mirror, and talked endlessly about his upcoming tech startup. He often said things like, "We're going to make it big, Jules. Just trust me." And I did. God, I did. That Tuesday afternoon, I got his text at 3:47 p.m. Dinner at my parents' place. 6 sharp. Wear something nice. Big announcement tonight. A big announcement. I thought maybe he'd gotten his investor deal finalized, or maybe, just maybe, it was something romantic. By the time I pulled up to his parents' house at 6:05, my heart was fluttering. I stepped out in a pale blue dress, carrying a bottle of wine. When the front door opened, I froze. The living room was decorated with gold and green balloons. A giant banner stretched across the wall. "Congratulations, Anthony and Hannah. Partners in success." Applause broke out as soon as I stepped in. His mother rushed toward me, tears in her eyes. "Oh, Hannah, we're so proud of you both. What a brave investment." I blinked. "Investment?" Anthony appeared behind her, grinning from ear to ear, his arms sliding possessively around my shoulders. "Surprise. Everyone. She's the reason this business is alive. My incredible investor and partner." The room erupted with cheers. His father shook my hand. His brother clapped me on the back. His sister-in-law Emily smiled politely but looked confused. "Wait," I managed to say, "what investment are we talking about?" Anthony laughed, that easy, performative laugh I used to find endearing. "Don't be modest, Jules. She's pretending she doesn't know everyone. That's just her way." His mom clasped her hands. $50,000. That's no small thing, dear. Such faith in him. You two are going to change the world. My stomach turned cold. 50,000? I turned slowly to look at Anthony. "What did you just say?" He squeezed my shoulder harder. "I told them, babe, about the transfer, about how you believed in me when no one else did. My voice came out brittle. I never agreed to invest $50,000. The room fell silent. Anthony's father frowned. "Son, what is she talking about?" Anthony's smile faltered for the first time. "Babe, don't do this here. You transferred the funds yourself." My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. "No, I didn't. You asked to borrow $2,000 for taxes, that's all. Where did you get 50? Anthony stepped forward, lowering his voice. "Hannah, this isn't the place." "Oh, I think it is." My hands were trembling as I pulled out my phone, opened my banking app, and scrolled to the transactions. "You made multiple transfers to something called Monica Partnership Fund over the last 2 months. Care to explain that?" His mother gasped, "Monica, who's Monica?" Anthony's face went white. "It's a shell company, a placeholder for the startup account. It's perfectly normal." "It's your ex-girlfriend's name, Anthony," I snapped. Every pair of eyes in the room turned to him. He laughed again, forced and dry. "She's just a consultant. Hannah, stop making this weird." "I'm making this weird?" I said, voice shaking. "You took my money without consent, forged a signature, and told your family I was your investor." His father's face darkened. "Anthony, is that true?" Anthony held his hands up. "This is getting blown out of proportion. She's overreacting." I interrupted him, opening my email app and holding up the screen. "Is this your signature? Because this email shows you submitted a fake investment form using my name and digital ID." The room was silent except for his mother's sob. Anthony took a step forward, his eyes darting between me and his family. "You're humiliating me in front of everyone." "No," I said quietly, "you did that yourself." For a long second he didn't move, then his jaw tightened. "You think you're so perfect? I did this for us, for our future." I stared at him. "Stealing isn't love, Anthony." His father finally spoke, voice sharp as glass. "Get out, now." "Dad, please." "Not her, you." Anthony looked stunned. "You're taking her side?" "Her side?" his mother hissed. "You used her money without permission. You lied to all of us." Anthony's eyes flickered with something dark. Resentment, maybe. Then he turned on me. "You'll regret this, Hannah. You're ruining everything." I slipped my purse over my shoulder, my voice steady despite the tremor in my chest. "No, Anthony. You did that when you decided I was your bank account." I turned toward the door as his mother called after me, her voice trembling. "You're just trying to destroy him, you gold digger." I paused at the doorway, looked back once, and said softly, "Funny. The gold's already gone." Then I walked out into the night, my reflection flickering in the dark window of my car, someone I barely recognized staring back. And for the first time I realized, This wasn't heartbreak. It was survival. The next morning, my phone started buzzing before the sun even peeked over the skyline. Anthony. Hannah, please, let's talk. It's a misunderstanding. Come to the cafe at 7. I stared at the message for a long moment. My hands were still shaking from last night, but something in me refused. I opened the app and typed back coldly, "We have nothing to talk about. You stole from me. You humiliated me. Do not contact me again." Of course, that didn't stop him. 10 minutes later, there was another text. "You don't understand. I never meant for it to go this far. I can explain everything." I ignored it. I had work, I had bills, I had to breathe again. By midday, my doorbell rang incessantly. I looked through the peephole. Anthony, disheveled, holding a coffee cup like some pathetic peace offering. I didn't answer. "Hannah, please open up, just 5 minutes." I typed a new message. "Leave, now. I'm calling the police if you don't go." He hesitated, then left, but I knew this was only the beginning. Later that afternoon, my phone vibrated with another number. Emily, Anthony's sister-in-law. I hesitated. Part of me wanted to ignore her, but something told me she might be different. "Hannah, I need to meet you. Somewhere neutral. I think you should know the truth about Anthony." We met at a quiet coffee shop downtown. She was fidgety, sipping her latte like she was afraid I'd explode at any second. I've been trying to figure out if I should say something," Emily started. "Anthony's startup, it's weird. There's no official registration. No investors except his stories. I was suspicious for months. I felt a flicker of hope. You think I'm not crazy?" She shook her head vigorously. "No, I mean, some of your evidence doesn't even make sense. Why would he fabricate your investment if you didn't know? Then I saw the emails between him and Monica. It's bigger than just a missing $50K. I gritted my teeth. "Monica is his ex, right?" Emily hesitated. "Yes. And from what I can tell, she's been helping him funnel money through shell accounts. I think he's been using you to cover his tracks." My stomach sank. He had done this before. He had a blueprint, and I was just the latest victim. That evening, I sat alone in my apartment, laptop open, retracing every transaction Anthony had made in the past 2 months. "He's systematic," I muttered. "Every withdrawal labeled consulting, every transfer slightly under the radar, and Monica's signature shows up occasionally, like she's there to legitimize it." I realized the terrifying truth. My name was now legally tied to a company I never agreed to. Then a message popped up from an unknown number. "Hannah, this is Aaron Blake. I think Anthony scammed you too. Can we meet?" I stared at my phone. Another victim. Another liar. Aaron was waiting at a small bar near my apartment the next evening. Mid-30s, quiet, careful. He looked like someone who had learned the hard way not to trust smooth talkers. "I don't even know where to start," he said, handing me a beer. "I invested $80,000. Thought you were part of the company too. Anthony said you were managing the accounts." My hands shook as I repeated what I already knew. "He lied. He forged my signature. He stole from me. And apparently from you too." Aaron nodded. I tried confronting him. He said I should trust Hannah's guidance. "I didn't even know you existed." 3 months of transactions, every dollar accounted for, and I thought I was investing in a legitimate business. Turns out, nothing existed except him. I swallowed hard. "We need to make this right. He can't get away with it." Aaron leaned back, grim. "I have no idea how to do that legally, but I'll help." Later that night, I got a voicemail from Anthony. "Jules, you don't get it. I didn't steal. It wasn't theft. It was survival. I needed the money to secure the company, to make our future safe. Please, just listen to me before you ruin everything." I listened, gripping my phone so tightly my knuckles turned white. I stayed quiet for a long moment, and then whispered to myself, "Survival? You think stealing my money is survival? No, Anthony, that's betrayal." Something had shifted in me. The fear, the shock, the humiliation. They were still there, but beneath it all, a cold, determined clarity took root. I opened my laptop again, started cataloging every transfer, every email, every lie. "Let's see what my investment really bought," I muttered. I had no idea just how deep this rabbit hole went. Over the next 2 days, I barely slept. My apartment felt like a war zone. Papers strewn across the kitchen table, my laptop open to dozens of bank statements and email threads, my phone constantly buzzing with Emily, forwarding me screenshots of Anthony's conversations with Monica. The more I looked, the angrier I became. "He planned this," I muttered aloud. "Every transfer, every excuse, all carefully staged to make me look complicit." It was then that Emily sent me a name, Aaron Blake, one of the supposed investors Anthony had lied to. She said he could shed light on the extent of the scam. I met Aaron at the bar he'd suggested. Mid-sized, quiet, no frills, the kind of place that encouraged secrets. Aaron was already there when I arrived, scanning the room anxiously. When he saw me, relief washed over his face. "You're the real Hannah," he said. "I was afraid I'd been scammed by a ghost." I slid into the booth across from him. "I wish I were a ghost. This is worse. He forged my name, took my money, and—" I swallowed, trying to steady my voice. "He told everyone I was in on it." Aaron nodded. "Yeah, he told me you were his partner handling accounts. I had no idea this was happening behind my back." I pulled out my phone and showed him the emails Anthony had sent Monica, coordinating transfers and covering tracks. "See this? He made a plan to make it look like I approved everything. Even my signature appears here. He's brilliant, if he weren't a complete sociopath." Aaron grimaced. "I lost $80,000, and here you are, losing everything, emotionally and financially. He's systematic, he's done this before. Trust me, we need a strategy." That night, back in my apartment, I received a voicemail that made my blood run cold. "Hannah, you don't understand. I never meant for this to get out of hand. You have to trust me. This isn't theft. It's temporary. I can fix it. Please." I paused the voicemail and looked around the room. The lights reflected off my laptop, off the stacks of papers, off my shaking hands. No, there was no trust left. Only facts, only evidence, only the law. I opened my email again and discovered a draft Anthony had left on his old laptop. It was titled, "Investor Exit Plan, Hannah Cover Story." He had been planning to use my name to shield himself from liability. Everything was premeditated. Every lie, every transaction, every story he told his parents, every claim that I voluntarily invested, all of it calculated. I took a deep breath, feeling a strange mixture of fury and grim satisfaction. Finally, I had proof. I called my lawyer friend, Patricia, and told her everything. "Patricia, he's been systematically stealing my money, lying to everyone, forging documents. It's all premeditated," I said, my voice tight. Patricia was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, "Hannah, this isn't just theft. This is fraud, identity misuse, and a financial conspiracy. You have enough evidence to put him in serious legal trouble." I closed my eyes, letting the weight of those words sink in. It felt almost unreal. But underneath the shock was a flicker of empowerment. "He thinks he can manipulate me. He thinks I'll crumble. He's wrong." I leaned back in my chair, exhaled slowly, and whispered to myself, "I'm going to make sure everyone knows exactly who Anthony Harris really is." The battle was just beginning. By Thursday morning, Anthony's harassment had escalated. He was showing up at my apartment, calling from blocked numbers, even leaving handwritten notes tucked under my door. Every attempt at intimidation was met with silence from me, but I documented everything meticulously. I also had a new ally, Aaron. He had gathered his own evidence, emails, bank statements, contracts that Anthony had tried to cover up. Together we were building a case that would expose the full extent of his deception. That afternoon, I received a call from Anthony's father. "Hannah, we need to talk," he said, voice low, controlled. "About Anthony, about your money." I clenched my phone. "I have nothing to discuss with him. He stole from me, lied to you all, and humiliated me. That's the conversation." "There are consequences, Hannah. Lawsuits, reputations." "Then let them come," I said sharply, "because I have proof. Everything. Every transaction, every email, every forged document. I'm done being manipulated." His silence said it all. The first legal meeting with Patricia was intense. "Hannah, this is going to be messy, but you're solid," she said. "We can file fraud charges, demand restitution, and ensure he can't drag you into more of his lies. The trick is documentation, and you've got plenty." I nodded, swallowing a mix of fear and determination. I want him accountable. No excuses, no manipulation, just the truth. Patricia smiled faintly. "Good. That's the right mindset. Emotional manipulation is the hardest to fight, but facts win every time." Court day arrived. I walked into the courthouse, Aaron at my side. Anthony was there too, looking confident, smug, as if the law could be twisted in his favor. Patricia stood in front of the judge, calm, professional. "Your Honor," she began, "my client, Hannah Clark, has been the victim of a deliberate financial scheme orchestrated by the respondent, Anthony Harris. This includes forged signatures, fraudulent transfers, and systematic misrepresentation of investments. Anthony's lawyer attempted to interrupt. Your Honor, my client. Patricia cut him off. The evidence is in the folder. Bank statements, email chains, digital signatures, all documented. He claims it was a misunderstanding, but the documentation shows a deliberate pattern of deception. This is premeditated fraud. The judge glanced through the evidence. His expression shifted from mild curiosity to shock as Patricia walked him through the intricate web Anthony had spun. Anthony squirmed in his seat. His smugness faltered as Patricia exposed every lie, every manipulation, every forged signature. When the verdict was read, I felt a surge of vindication. The court finds in favor of Hannah Clark. Anthony Harris is ordered to return all funds obtained through fraud, pay legal fees in full, and is barred from contacting the plaintiff in any manner. The judge looked at Anthony sternly. You attempted to exploit the trust of not one, but multiple victims. The court will not tolerate this behavior. Restitution and accountability are required. Anthony's face was pale. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. Aaron clapped me on the shoulder. We did it. Finally. I exhaled slowly. We did. And now, it's over. That night, back in my apartment, I looked around. My space felt lighter somehow, cleansed of the suffocating deceit. I opened my laptop one last time, reviewing all the evidence we had gathered. Every screenshot, every bank statement, every email. Proof that I had survived, that I had fought back. I smiled faintly, not for revenge, not for victory, but for reclaiming control of my life. I trusted, I was betrayed, and now, I am free. The weeks after the court ruling were surprisingly quiet. Anthony was gone, blocked on every platform, every number, every trace of him scrubbed from my life. The relief was almost dizzying. For the first time in months, I could breathe without the tension clawing at my chest. Aaron and I stayed in touch, mostly to finalize recovering the misappropriated funds. But there was no animosity, just shared disbelief at how audacious Anthony's scheme had been. He was a reminder of the danger of misplaced trust, but also of the resilience that comes from facing betrayal head-on. I started rebuilding slowly. My apartment got a fresh coat of paint, a new couch, new curtains. The small things mattered, each one a symbol of reclaiming my space, my agency, my life. I also re-examined my finances, ensuring that no loopholes existed, no blind spots Anthony or anyone else could exploit. It was tedious, but necessary. With each completed task, the gnawing anxiety that had haunted me for months diminished. One afternoon, Emily sent me a message. Just wanted to say, I'm sorry I didn't speak up sooner. You handled this better than I ever could have. I typed back. Thank you. It wasn't easy, but I had to protect myself, and now I can finally breathe. Her reply was simple. You deserve peace. Don't let anyone take that from you again. I smiled at the screen, feeling the truth of it deep in my chest. A few weeks later, I met someone new. Liam, a kind, grounded man I had met through a mutual friend. He didn't know about my past ordeal at first, and I didn't bring it up immediately. There was no need for drama, no testing of trust, just conversations, laughter, quiet moments. On our third date, I finally shared a little of my story. He listened without judgment, not with pity, not with heroics, just understanding. You survived a lot, he said gently, and you came out stronger. That's all anyone could hope for. I realized then that I wasn't broken, not by Anthony, not by his lies, not by the fear or betrayal. I was simply wiser, more cautious, more resilient. In the quiet evenings after Liam left, I often thought back to the night Anthony humiliated me in front of his family. The fear, the anger, the sense of being powerless, it had been real. But it had also been temporary. I had faced it, fought back, and won, not just legally, but emotionally. Trust your instincts. Red flags exist for a reason. And when someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. For Hannah Clark, 32, that lesson wasn't abstract. It was lived, blood deep, and it would guide every step I took forward. I closed my laptop one evening, leaning back in my chair. My apartment was quiet, safe, mine. The battle with Anthony was over, the truth had been revealed, and I was finally free. And in that freedom, I found something I hadn't realized I was missing. Peace.